Hello kids, welcome back to EVS online class. In this class, we are going to revise Unit 2 for MOY, that is mid of the year exam. Before starting the class, make sure that you have your EVS reader and this one and EVS workbook with you. I'll give you 5 seconds. Be ready with your things. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So children, human beings, they need food to live and work. They need clothes and shelter to protect themselves from heat, cold and rains. This means that they live in surrounding where their basic needs such as food, clothing and shelter can be easily available. But what about the needs of other living beings like plants and animals? After all, they also need food and protection from heat, rain and cold. Where do they get all these things? How do they survive against heat and cold? These are some of the questions we'll try to find answer to this in this unit. First of all, tell me what is habitat? Habitat, you already know what is habitat. Habitat is the natural home of plant and animal where they get food, water and can make shelter. What is habitat? Habitat is the natural home of plant and animal where they get food, water and can make shelter. It's called habitat. An ocean is an habitat because it is a natural home for fish and provide water, air and food and a place to live. We know that only natural home of an animal is called habitat. Zoo, you have seen zoo? Zoo is not a habitat because it is made by man. So it cannot be habitat. It is not natural home of animals. A forest can be natural habitat for a tiger because it is natural place where they hunt and get their food. Now open page number 22 of workbook, worksheet 1. Question number 1 is there. A habitat is an area that provides the following to plants and animals. So, what are the things that habitat provide for plant and animals? Food, water and shelter. 3 things they will provide. So, this is the answer: food, water and shelter. Now, second question. The 4 major habitat of the world are: first one is polar region, desert, grassland, ocean. These are the 4 habitat of the world. Now, one question is there: why cannot a zoo be a habitat of a tiger? Why cannot a zoo be habitat of a tiger? A zoo cannot be habitat of a tiger because it is not its natural home. A zoo cannot be the habitat of a tiger because it is not its natural home. Habitat is the natural home, but zoo is not the natural home of a tiger, so it is not the habitat of the tiger. Now, take those living beings whose habitat is not an ocean. You have to tick here. See the picture. You have to tick the living beings which are not whose habitat is not the ocean. First one is hen and elephant. These two and frog also. These 3 animals' habitat is not the ocean. Again, you have already learnt about adaptation. 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 Okay. So what do we mean by adaptation? It is adaptation means some changes in physical features. Some changes in physical feature or habit of the animals or plants so that it can survive better in their habitat. Adaptation means the changes in some physical features or habits of an animal or plant which help them to survive better in their habitat. That is called adaptation. So here one question is there, worksheet 2. What is adaptation? Adaptation means changes in some physical features and habits of plants and animals that help them survive in their habitat. Okay. Now give an example of living beings that has adapted based on the following condition. It is in a very cold climate. Huskies are found in very cold climate. In a very hot climate, camel to stay safe from other animals, that is butterfly. To win against competition for food, that is giraffe. To get enough sunlight, trees in deep forest. What can happen when a living being fails to adapt to its habitat? What will happen when a living being fails to adapt its habitat? When a living being fails to adapt to its habitat, they die. And many times their species completely disappear from the earth. When a living being fails to adapt to its habitat, they die, and many times their species completely disappear from the earth. Now you have to think and write how animals and human beings adapted to a cold place differently. You have to write over here how humans adapt in cold places, and here you have to write how animals adapt. I read it out. Humans wear warm clothes to keep themselves warm. What animals do? Animals have thick fur. Those animals which are living in cold places, they have thick fur, like huskies, polar bear. Humans does not sleep throughout the winter. So human beings, they won't sleep during the winter. Animals like polar bear hibernates or sleep through the winter to pass extreme weather condition. This is how humans are adapted to cold environment and how animals are adapted in cold environment. Turn the page. So in world, how many habitat are there? There are mainly 4 habitat. That is polar habitat, desert, grassland, and one more ocean. So these are the 4 habitat of the world. Now polar habitat. Polar regions are found at the northernmost and southernmost point of the earth. Due to their location, sun rays do not fall straight on them. This is fill in the blanks. Polar regions are covered with dash for the most part of the year. Polar regions are covered with ice for most part of the year. The summer here are very cold. Now next one, you have to draw sun rays. Draw arrows to represent how sun rays fall on the polar region. So you have to draw sun rays like this. I have drawn here. See, you have to draw sun rays, and you have to show how it will fall on the polar region. These 2 are the polar region. Now, what do you think will happen if the sun rays falls straight on the polar region? If the sun rays is going to be fall straight on the polar region, what will happen? It is going to become hot, that region also. If the sun rays fall straight on the polar region, then it will be hot and many plants will grow there. There many plants is going to grow. What do you think life make very difficult in polar region? Why life are very difficult in polar region? Due to extreme cold, life is very difficult in polar region. Here I have written extreme cold throughout the year make life very difficult in the polar region. Now worksheet 4. State whether the following statements are true or false. Soil remains frozen in the polar region. True. Hot wind blows a very high speed in the polar region. Hot wind. That is false. Polar sorry, plants grow in bunches or bare roots in polar region. True. Moss and lichens are two types of animals found in polar region. These moss and lichens are not animals; they are plant, but they are found in polar region. You have to remember that moss and lichens, they are found in polar region, but they are plant, not animals. I'm going to ask one question. If ice in the polar region melt, who will it affect and how? If ice in polar region melt, who will it affect and how? When the ice in the polar region it is going to melt, what will happen? The temperature in the polar region will become warm, and that ice, when it is melt, the level of sea is also going to rise. Water level of sea is also going to rise, and it is going to affect the plants and animals which are living in the polar region. So this is how it is going to affect. Now one more question is there. uh, it is given in page number 30. Why can't a polar bear survive in desert? So you know, desert habitat how it is. So it is very hot, but polar bear it is used to stay in polar region, that is cold region. So why cannot a polar bear survive in a desert? Polar bear can't survive in the desert as they need very cold temperature, as they have lot of hairs on their body. So when polar bear come to desert, they can't survive. Now another question is there. Listen to this question very carefully. Is there anything common between the adaptation of a giraffe and the camel? You know, camel it is found in desert, and giraffe it is found in grasses. What grassland? So what is the common between the camel and the giraffe? Camel and giraffe live without water for more than 2 weeks. This is the common thing between giraffe and camel. Giraffe and camel live without water for more than 2 weeks. So this is the common thing between the adaptation of a giraffe and the camel. Camel and giraffe can live without water for more than 2 weeks. Now, last page. Name two things that pollute the ocean, that is plastic bags and bottle. If all the ice in the polar region melts, who will it affect and how? If it affect the all living beings on the earth. See this question. If the ice on the polar region melts, whom will it affect and how? It affect all the living beings on the earth. Sea level would rise and land will shrink. When sea level is water in sea level will rise, land will shrink. Now, question number 6 in page number 32. State whether the following statements are true or false. Permafrost melt due to increase in greenhouse gases. It is true. Cutting of trees makes the soil better. False. We should use chemically made fertilizers. It is false. We should litter the beach to avoid water pollution. It is also false. So children, for today this much only. Thank you.